on real fast. Get off of Bluetooth. I'm trying to get this up a little higher. Sorry. Good rising. Good seeing everyone. Sorry I was a little late. I had to take care of a couple things last minute. Good seeing you here, Ancient Gardener. Thank you for showing up. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you for everyone for showing up. Shalom, shalom, family. Grand rising. Look at all the beautiful people already here. Beautiful. Thank you, Mim Saya. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you. Give people a chance to, give family a chance to kind of show up, get the notifications and come on in. Great seeing everyone. Opportunity for us to kind of come together, talk a little bit again, get some more clarification. You can say it's a beautiful thing to see what is going on. Watching the other nations trying to explain all the things that are going on around them, with no understanding whatsoever. So it's a beautiful thing to have the Most High give us knowledge and understanding at this time. I know the family sees it. You're looking at the news, you're looking at YouTube, you're looking at them trying to explain everything. And what's been crazy is this: they're trying to explain everything, but exclude us as a people. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to explain why everything is going to hell, and but they don't want to talk about us as a people. They don't want to talk about how we as a people are the generators to everything that's going on right now. They're looking really bad. You're right, Deborah Lee. They're looking horrible. I says they're just trying their best to make it seem like they got understanding and they got these things under control. And don't. And the Most High is just showing you that we already know that the Most High is in charge of everything. We already understand that. They seem to think that, they can make the Most High do their will. The Most High is always for them. The Most High is always going to be for them, so they can always be winning. And it's just, it's amazing. Yeah, we're the battle axes right now. We're the battle axes spiritually. We're the battle axes that are bringing the truth out. We're the battle axes that are bringing understanding out. I said, so just like before, when Noah, was talking to the people, he was giving, understanding. He was teaching. Enoch was teaching, before these big events happened. That's what we're doing now. Before these big events happen, the Most High releases his people to bring out the truth. And that's exactly what he's using his people for right now, to bring out this truth. And I just, kind of skimmed through some of these videos of the other nations, and even our people. It's like, how many times are you just going to have conversations about the same topics over and over again? Hey, I got a new debate. Hey, come take a sneak peek at my debate. Hey, Vocab Malone said this, so I'm going to say this about him. Who gives a shit about what Vocab Malone says? You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? But, like, they've used this guy as some it elevated him, excuse me, to be some guy, with some high influence by talking about him all the time. They elevate these Gentiles all the time, about, well, he said this, and we're gonna go at him, and we're gonna show him this. Who cares? What he thinks. And that's the whole point. Us as a people have elevated these other Gentiles to be some people of importance. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? He can believe whatever he wants. He can go out and make videos. What's hilarious is this, okay? I was checking out, I don't know if you guys, I'm subscribed to him. I rarely watch him, but I subscribed to him a long time ago. Berean TV or Berean something. It's Berean TV, and he's been going in on talking about the Israelites and talking about Christianity and whatever else. And I checked out a little bit of a video that he had with some sister that was on there. And she was just going in on the Hebrew Israelites. And I'm just like, she's like, well, they're a cult. I'm like, yeah, we're a cult. You're right. What does a cult mean? A cult means like a small amount of people are going to believe this information. If you may put the definition of cult in the chat, see, they go with the Christian, definition of cult because they think it has some negative connotation. But the actual definition of a cult is like, yeah, that's exactly what we are. Like, only a small amount of people are going to get the understanding. Yeah, that's us. This information is not for everyone. So if you want to call us a cult, hey, no problem. What are you? And see, and exactly, all these, a cult, hidden. You got these words that these Christians have stigmatized and made evil. But then when you actually look up the definitions, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. Just like esoteric. It sounded like it was all evil and whatever else. But then when you actually look up the definition, I was like, that's a definition? Well, okay, well, that's us. You see what I'm saying? So it was amazing because she was just going in on the Hebrews, like, oh, they think that they're the 12 tribes of Israel. And, and she just started laughing like that just can't be true. And I was like, so she was attacking the Hebrew Israelites. But the thing is they never, they still put their Christianity like it's up here. And then they down anything else. Okay? So I was like, so hold on, you're going to sit here and talk all this crap and all this mess about the Hebrews. What about your history? What about your Christianity? What about all of that? Thank you, Ancient Gardener. Cult. A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or peculiar or sinister. Perfect. A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange, peculiar, or sinister. Thank you so much, Ancient Gardener. Is that not what Yahushua practiced? Did Yahushua go out and practice the religion of the day? Was he out there doing the same things that all the other religions were doing? Of course he wasn't. So he would be considered to be, in a cult. So cool. If that's what you want to call us, no problem. We'll wear that with a badge of honor. But as you see, the ones that they attack are always the camps. They're going in on IUIC. They'll go in on GMS. They act like the only Hebrew Israelites are the ones in the camps. Anyone else is not a Hebrew Israelite. You see what I'm saying? So that's why, like I told you, some people are raised up. They're created opposition. So that then, okay, they'll let you go on the street corners, act a fool, act up and whatever else, so that they can elevate you and say, oh, this is what all Hebrew Israelites are. You see what I'm saying? I was like, okay, yeah, exactly. The Bible says we're a peculiar people. You see what I'm saying? He elevates his people, so they're a peculiar people. They're a set apart people. So perfect. So if that's what you want to call us, no problem. You see what I'm saying? But see, they'll attack camps. They'll attack groups because those groups are under their control. They're control opposition because they do this. They only will use the Bible pretty much. They'll stay on their playing field that the Christian church will stay on, because the Christian church ain't going into any other books. So they want another opposition that will stay in the parameters that the church has set up. You see what I'm saying? They're always using wordplay to scare the people away. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And then they're talking about like, oh, well, the so-called black lady or whatever else that was on there was like, well, they say that, you know, pretty much all black people are Israel. Hell no. I was like, no, we don't. I said, but that's what you guys do. Y'all sit there and no one says that anybody that's so-called black or whatever else or African American is an Israelite. No, we don't. See, but that's what you guys set up. And they also say, oh, well, they'll say all so-called white people are Edomites. No, we didn't say that either. But see, this is what happens when they want to control the argument. They want to control the narrative. You see what I'm saying? And that's exactly what they have done this whole time. They really try their best to oversimplify this awakening. They really try their best to oversimplify this awakening. Please, brothers and sisters, do me a favor. Just so for the Gentiles and the other people that are in the chat here that are just listening, can you guys put some scriptures up that talk about the Most High's people being a set-apart people and being a peculiar people? How about we put up Psalms 147, 19, and 20 about how the scriptures were given to Jacob. So if you guys can, just put some of those in the chat. I said, because then we can let other people know. All over their Bible, it's talking about how the true people would be considered to be in a cult because they're going to be a set-apart people. There we go. There we go. I'll give you guys a chance. I'll wait a second for everybody to go ahead and put some more scriptures up about how we're a set-apart people. Yep, thank you, Carlos. Exactly. Always oversimplify, label, and scare. Jeremiah for Deuteronomy. So you guys, so the ones who, are just listening, there's going to be a lot of people here just coming in and listening. You're gonna see scriptures that support what it is that we're talking about. Thank you, Soulfully Sowing Seeds. Appreciate that. So you just show us some scriptures right here that show us that the Most High has set apart his people. They will be considered to be in a cult. Okay? 2nd Esdras 14 will show you that, because there's going to be a group of scriptures given to the whole world, and then he's going to give a certain amount of scripture to only a select few. Those select few will be considered to be in a cult. They will be considered to be, well, the word will be stigmatized as something evil. Sister Lisa Cabrera here too. Thank you, sister, for showing up. I said the chat it'd be flying, be moving fast. But see, what you're gonna see here is, like I said, we got so many people in the chat. I said brothers and sisters here are very, very learned as far as the scriptures are concerned. I said, and whatever it is that we talk about, we can prove. Okay? I said, and we'll definitely be doing that definitely as we keep going through this topic right here. So it's just funny just listening to, all of the key words and the key points that they always do. The key, they find some words and then they negatively, stigmatize people. They talk about the camps. I'm like, okay, well, camps aren't all the Israelites. So there's plenty of Israelites that don't associate with the camps, that you guys are just trying to gloss over and act like we're not here. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're here. There's a whole lot of us. There's thousands of us, tens of thousands of us, okay, that congregate, come together, work together, that you guys are acting like don't exist. You see what I'm saying? So we don't, and there's plenty of us here who don't just look at your skin color. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what you guys, but see, that's what the Christian church wants to do. Because the Christian church cannot deal with facts. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to go on off of history. They're not going to, okay, because I'm like, hold on, before you start, because Berean actually did it, what he did do, though, because she was kind of saying some negative things and people were saying some negative things, was he did kind of say, like, hey, we can't just be saying whatever we want to say about the Israelites and it not be proven with facts. He says, because we can't, then they said they say that they're a hate group, but they haven't done anything. I said, exactly. Y'all, they stigmatize the Hebrew Israelites as a hate group, but what have they done? They haven't been bombing churches. They have not been attacking people. See, yeah, verbally, maybe they say things or whatever else, but we get attacked verbally every day. You see what I'm saying? So come on now. I said, that's what they do. Everything is about negatively stigmatizing us as a group, as a people. I said, but with no facts whatsoever, or no examples whatsoever. I said, we're going to go back into Christian history, and you guys have taken, like I said, we can go into that right now. How about we give some examples to the people here in the congregation that are listening of the history of Christianity? So family, go ahead and put in some examples of some things that the Christian church has been doing, okay, that they're responsible for. Slavery, we can start with that, because, slavery was condoned by the churches. You see what I'm saying? So throw some of those in there, because we want you guys to understand that we're not saying things just to say stuff. KKK, stolen land, genocide, dumb diverse us. If you don't know about, because you never heard about these things, go and research this. Dogs of the Conquest, pushing good times Jesus, swagger jackers like Big Levi says, exactly. White Jesus, that's mass murder, creating a slave Bible, Spanish. I was like, putting all fear in the people, hidden books, the Crusades, exactly, the Inquisition, residential schools. They go ahead, and that's what it says: rape, robbery, murder. These are all this Black Wall Street, replacement theology. Look at, eating us, silence on everything, spreading fear, hiding our history, giving our history to everyone else, reprogramming, taking away jubilees where we're supposed to be, things that we're supposed to be observing that we don't because it's been taken away from us. Redlining is absolutely huge. Stealing land. And like I said, this is all things that the Christian church, Catholic church, all these churches condone. Holidays, racism, the Ham curse, exactly. Saying it, justifying what they did to us because that was a curse of Ham, exactly. No dietary laws, exactly. Calling us super predators with 13th Amendment. You're right. When we got talking about the 13th Amendment, the show on Netflix, pretty much putting us into slavery. Ignoring the Holocaust of the Israelites. Redefining lands. Redefining like how you can take over other people's lands, keeping us at the bottom. Forced worship. Destroying our families. Pitting our women against our men. False teaching on tithes, false prophets. You see what I'm saying? Like, so like I said, we need to start doing some of this more often for the people that are here watching. And, because they need to understand our point of view, because you're not going to get our point of view anywhere else. Everywhere else, they just give you their point of view and they act as if that's all that there is. Lab experiments, experimenting on our people, experimenting on our women. The whole medical profession pretty much was set up by experimenting on our women. They're like, oh, anesthesia? Oh, they don't need anesthesia. Those women are so strong. But then that's biblical. That goes back to remember they didn't want to give our women anesthesia when they were doing experiments on them in slavery. But then that just proves who we are, because then you go back to the book of Exodus, and they were telling the handmaids to kill the babies of the Hebrew Israelites when they were being born, and they said, "Oh no!" It says these women are not like our women, right? I said they're not like our women. I said we can't come in there, we can't get them, we can't get to them, because while they're already being born, they're, hey, give me my baby, I got this. You don't need, you know what I'm saying? So all that Tuskegee experiments. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So all of this is all talking about all the stuff that's been happening to our people. Poison in the water, exactly. So these are the kinds of things. Exact medical apartheid, exactly. Explains this too, exactly. So except this is all part of our history. You see what I'm saying? Now, this is why when that woman was talking about the Hebrew Israelites, she wants to talk about the camps. She wants to talk about how Israelites are a curse. I mean, are cults, and how they're violent, and how they're this, and how they're that. All the while, they ignore their history. Did we do any of that? So who's the real hate group? Like I said, so when you're looking at this, and who's the real hate group? If you look at all the things, and trust me, there's a lot of things that we didn't put. There's a lot of topics we didn't even touch. Okay, so if we can go through and name all these different things that happened to us, but somehow we are a hate group when we've done nothing to you. You see that? Now, I said I wanted to talk about, and people still say they still throwing stuff up there. I said, so these are things that you guys can go and research. See, the people here have researched a lot of this. They've gone into a lot of this information. You see what I'm saying? So now, for a lot of you other people, the Gentiles who might not have seen this, Israelites who haven't seen this, who just listen to what you've been taught and what you taught, when they tell you don't be looking at any of this new history, this propaganda history. No, this is your history. These are the things that you've done. These are the things that you're going to have to pay for. These are the things that we as a nation have to heal from. You see what I'm saying? Like, they've done all these things to us, and they want us to concentrate on this part only. And they want us to concentrate on just being upset and angry at you because they want us to stay at a low frequency. But no, this is how we need to come to terms with the things that have happened, and then we need to heal from them. We need to work on healing from them. We need to work on fixing ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So not just worrying, okay, we need to understand this. And the other nations, hey, look, you need to come to terms that these are the things that have happened to us as a people. You're not going to be able to just keep on ignoring us. And this is why all the stuff is happening to your other nations now. You see what I'm saying? This is why, there's a lot of people dying. Have you guys been paying attention to a lot of these people who have been dying? Like a lot of young people. I saw the Prime Minister or whatever of Japan was assassinated a couple days ago. You guys put some information. If you guys have some information, hey, Sister Lisa, great seeing you. You guys can put some information about that in there. I said, because I mean, it's amazing. I've seen a lot of young people passing away. These people be like 33, 20, 22. It's like y'all made a deal with the devil, and the devil didn't let you guys enjoy it very long. You know what I'm saying? You guys didn't get an opportunity to enjoy it very long. But I've just seen like a lot of these young actors, young rappers, just young people passing away. Foreign leaders are stepping down. A lot of teenagers, A lot of athletes, Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of with the death angels definitely going ham. You can definitely see that. So I said, so you got to look like all these things are happening, and it's like, hey, but then they keep on saying like, why? Well, we don't know why. Yeah, because you guys have just ignored a huge part of your history. That's why these things are happening, and you guys don't want to talk about it. That's why I was cracking up. I know y'all all saw that with Off Grid. Yeah, was it yesterday? Recommending the new house nigga. recommending the new so-called black person. Oh, look, this guy is this brother right here is really woke. You know what I'm saying? He's woke. You guys got to check out his video. He's woke. His brother Abdullah see here too. Great seeing him. Did you guys see that yesterday? Because you can see now, like I said, they're trying their best to recommend. Now they're trying to recommend so-called black people. You know what I'm saying? And they know that we ain't listening to the Gentiles no more. You know what I'm saying? They know, like, okay, man, we just can't keep rolling out the Greg Lauries, can't keep rolling out, Joel Olsteins. I says these brothers here are not listening to them. They're not. We don't want nothing to do with them. So you know what? Just find me, hey brother 12, great seeing you. I said just find me somebody black that's still saying the same thing we're saying. Just roll him out. It was funny. I was just like, wow, okay. I mean, it's straight comedy. It is straight comedy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, we're not, we're not taking your guys' recommendations anymore. It's falling out. Like I said, if you even listen to it, I mean, I already know what's going to be said. So somehow it's going to work back. Somehow it's going to, whatever they say is going to work their way right back to white Jesus. You know what I'm saying? They might start you over here on first base, might get you to second base, might get you to third base. But by the time you get home, it's going to be white Jesus and believe in white Jesus. And, do you want to know for 100% that you're going to go to heaven? He said, if you want to know for 100% you're going to go to heaven, I said, you need to accept white Jesus. We already know it's going to work its way back to that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, yeah, it's just funny. And then on the thumbnail, I was kind of scrolling through a couple of those like shorts or whatever else, and this dude was interviewing that old white guy, and he's just talking to him, and he's like, hey, are you pro or anti-slavery? Oh boy says, no comment. He goes, hold on, I'm going to give you another opportunity. Are you pro or anti-slavery? Oh, no notification. Thank you, Abdullah. Great seeing. Thank you for letting us know. The old boy said, no comment. So he asked him a third time. Okay, I'm going to give you an opportunity. Again, are you pro or anti-slavery? Old boy said, no comment. And thank you for the interview, and walked off. You saw that video? I was like, now, I'm sorry. Now, look, this is what happens. Remember that video that I think Sister Lisa did a video on about the dude that was 100 years old, and he was like crying because, oh, no, kids are not going to have the opportunity that I had. The opportunity that you had to do what? Be racist? They're not going to have that same opportunity for white supremacy. They're not going to have that same opportunity to redline and steal everything. I said, oh, okay. So you want us to all cry about that? But I'm thinking about the guy who was in that video about pro-slavery. And it's like, dude, just because someone's old doesn't mean they've lived some righteous life. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people lived in a time where white supremacy was pushed and accepted. They went to church on Sundays with a pastor that condoned white supremacy. They condoned redlining. They condoned, all the heinous treatment of us, and they made a whole doctrine to prove it, to establish it. You know what I'm saying? With, oh, well, they got the curse of Ham. They're so-called black people, so they don't have rights. You can do whatever you want with them. You see what I'm saying? Emmett Till. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, so come on now, man. I said, come on. I said, you guys are tripping, you know. But this is the thing. Just because someone's older doesn't mean that they're wholesome. Doesn't mean that they don't have a bunch of skeletons in their closet. Doesn't I mean that means these people were alive when it was okay to go and pick up one of us and lynch us, and there was no um, consequences. You know, when we watch when you see those pictures of the postcards with our people hanging, burned, destroyed, the little kids that are there that have been watching that, those are the 100-year-old people that we see right now. Those were the ones that were there when they were lynching us and doing all these horrible things to us. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, just because someone's old does not mean that, you know, you get my respect. But see, that's what they've taught us, you know, that, you know, oh, you know, you need to respect them. And I'm like, nah, no, that's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? They can say all the nice things they want to say now after they've done all their dirt. I said, but no, I said, that's not how it works over here. You know, I said, I respect people that admit the truth. You see what I'm saying? I expect people that talk about the truth. If you are still pushing all the lies and whatever else that we've been taught our whole lives, then I don't have any respect for you. I don't need to respect you. You don't respect the fact that we're bringing, the Most High is giving us our history back. You don't want that. You want the lies. Right? I said, you want the lies. So therefore, you show me what team you're playing for. You don't, I mean, how many times have we been disrespected, people? Family. We tell people the truth. We tell people, hey, I don't celebrate Christmas. And what do? Send you a Christmas card. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. What do? Hey, you gonna come over for Thanksgiving? I don't celebrate 4th of July. Hey man, you want to come over for 4th of July? That's like, they disrespect us by not, you know, respecting the fact that we don't want to participate in their BS. You see what I'm saying? But they still don't care because they're worried about, they don't care about what you want. That's very disrespectful. You see what I'm saying? And that's okay now. I don't eat shrimp, but they always constantly, oh, come on, man, you can have some. I don't eat bacon. Oh, come on, man, you can have, this bacon's really good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay. I said, but see, now the Most High is like, the Most High's he's been there watching all this stuff. And now you're starting to see all these horrible things happening to people. Exactly, it's like a slap in the face. I mean, I haven't done a lot of these things for years. And still, we got family members that'll, you know, invite us to stuff or, you know, send us things and stuff like that. Offer you some pork ribs, exactly. Eat it in front of you and act, oh, it's so good, man. You don't know what you're missing out on. I'm like, okay, all right. Cry me a river, old man. That's it. I was like, because like I said, I mean, old boy told it how hey, I respect a man as like that. Old boy said, are you pro or anti-slavery? Old boy said, no comment. I respect that better than someone who's gonna sit here, oh, Elijah's prophecy just popped up on my thing. The other dude that Off-Grid recommended. You know, it's just funny, you know, all these guys that they've been recommending now. Beef burger wrapped in bacon, But yeah, and then there was another video, and this is funny because, you know, a lot of these Christians, they're young Christians or whatever else, and they'll make their videos, and their panels are almost always white guys, white men. Might throw in a white woman so they can say they have a minority, but very rarely do they have so-called, you know, people of color. And if they do, they always just regurgitate the same dogma and whatever else and doctrine, okay, of that they've been taught. All right. Now, this one guy was like, you know, if you want to know something, you need to go and get like go do the research on the best minds on those subject matters. The best minds, you know, that have been doing the study. You need to study them, right? And it's like, hold on. But almost all the time, it's always so-called white people that are considered the best minds, okay, on these subjects. Now, if your history goes back to Greece and Rome, but all of this other information was before you guys were here, how are you guys supposedly the best minds and have all this information? You see what I'm saying? Like, how is that even possible? One person that they always talk about, I think we want to say Pliny here, volume 1. Let me take a look here, because they really push him when they're doing like a lot of their bibliographies and their quotes and stuff like that. They're definitely talking about, they use Pliny quite a bit, you know, because he's like, I want to say this is like the first Roman encyclopedia, okay, and but you come to find out that he copied all of his stuff pretty much from the Greeks, and we already know the Greeks, all over in these books I'm going to show you guys, got their information from they say the Egyptians, but also from the Druids. Okay, we're just gonna take a look at volume 1 really fast, just a little bit, just so you can kind of see some of the subject matter that Pliny has here. And it's like, how in the hell did he get this information? How would he know about all of these different topics? Unless they were all just plagiarizing from somewhere else. I think you guys can see some of you can pause it later and check out some of these the subject matter. That there's no way this dude has all this information. What is this? Of the nature of the stars, of the motion of the planets. How in the hell would he know about the movement of the planets? On the recurrence of the eclipses of the sun and the moon, of the motion of the moon, of the motions of the planets and the general laws of their aspects. All the stuff that they told us was evil, they got here in their book. Remember, they told us, don't be looking at the stars, don't be looking at planets, don't be looking at any of that. Wow, if that's true, why the hell do you have this in your book? You didn't know about this stuff before, so who did you get this from? Exactly, it sounds like some pretty esoteric. Exactly. Why is thunder ascribed to Jupiter? Of the distances of the stars, of the dimensions of the world, of the elements of the planets. How in the hell? Now, how in the hell would they have that? I'm gonna put that up again. How in the hell would they have this information? Okay, let's check out the next one. Of the colors of the sky, of the celestial flame, of many suns, many moons, daylight, on unusually long eclipses of the sun. How in the hell do they have that information? So, as they've been taking information from us and then tell us, don't look at it, in their books, supposedly they came up with all this information. Talking about just a couple of those, of earthquakes, of the inequality of climates, what part of the earth is inhabited. How would you guys know about which parts are inhabited and which parts weren't? You see what I'm saying? Why the sea is salt. Let's see. Of the nature of the earth, the nature of hail, snow, hoar, mist, dew, the forms of clouds, general laws of lightning, of conjuring up thunder, tornadoes, blasting winds, whirlwinds, and other wonderful kinds of tempests, of the rising of the dog star. The rising of the dog star. So you guys are talking about Sirius now. How in the hell would y'all know about that? You see what I'm saying? I said, and there's more. This is just volume 1. There's more. So how is that? Now, like I said, for the people who are here in the chat, we know that got other nations here as well. Explain to me how you guys would have gotten that information. You trying to say that the Greeks came up with all that on their own? Because this dude, Pliny, he just copied all that stuff from the Greeks. See, and we already got books on how when they took over Egypt, they made the priests of Egypt teach them all this stuff. You see what I'm saying? So that's not flying. So when old boy said, are you pro-slavery or anti-slavery? Old boy is pro-slavery because he doesn't want to be hit in the face with this truth. He wants us to be enslaved once again so that they can, portray themselves as these great thinkers and nobody checks them. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're used to. So old boy, that's what old boy said. Are you pro-slavery, anti-slavery? No comment. That lets you know exactly what he was for. Nope, not going to happen because you already had your opportunity to keep us enslaved. You guys already had that opportunity. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys again. Page is 13. I'm going to read a little bit here. From the Sacred Mysteries. Okay. Because it said it's going to prove again about who they got their information from. Okay, it says the Templars were accused as Masons are today by the Romish Church, since it has lost its hold and influence on the association of the crime of heresy, and many Masons have suffered death by being burnt alive as heretics. So again, the church is just really good at blaming or accusing people of anything, heretical or witchcraft or whatever else, and killing people. All right, from whom did the Templars receive those symbols and their esoteric meaning, in which we plainly trace the doctrine of Pythagoras? Oh, there we go. Pythagoras got his information, from the Templars, because you can trace Pythagoras's theories and whatever else back to the Templars. So again, from whom did the Templars receive those symbols and their esoteric meaning, in which we plainly trace the doctrine of Pythagoras? No doubt from the Christians who, like the Emperor Julian, the Bishop Synesius, Clement of Alexandria, and many other pagan philosophers, who had been initiated to the mysteries by the priests of Egypt before being converted to Christianity. So they went with the priests of Egypt, and we know that who taught the Egyptians? Abraham. He was going to give them that esoteric understanding. Okay, so before these people, these so-called, great thinkers of the Greeks became Christians, or if they became Christians or whatever, they got all this information from the Egyptians. Okay, in that case, the connection of modern Masonry with the ancient religious mysteries of Egypt, consequently with those of Greece and Samothracia, is easily traced, and the resemblance of the symbolical marks and ceremonials of Masonic lodges with those of the mysteries naturally accounted for. Thus, it is that many Masonic authors may have been led to trace the origin of the craft of the followers of Pythagoras and others to the Essenes and first Christians. So a lot of the Christians just copied a lot of stuff from Pythagoras, and Pythagoras got his information from the Egyptians. And what you're going to read right now is, it just talks about how the church is always, what they've done before is they've always feared the influence of the Israelites. They've always feared the influence of the Israelites. So therefore, that's why they have persecuted our people, because they know that the Most High is dealing with us. They know that the Most High is blessing us. So therefore, they always attack people that they fear. They fear that we're going to have an influence. So therefore they'll also set up groups so that they can have controlled opposition, and say, oh, Hebrew Israelites, oh, they're all like the ones in the camps. They all believe in the 12 tribes chart. They all believe that they all came here on Africa in ships. They all believe the same thing. So therefore, so once we attack that dogma, then the whole religion's out the door. Okay? I'm going to read this part right here. It's called the Christian church on the one hand, the Roman emperors on the other, fearing the influence of those magicians and priests, persecuted them even to death. Now, and that's what they did to our people. Okay? These learned and wise men formed secret societies to preserve and transmit their knowledge. These societies lasted during the Middle Ages, the Rosicrucians, the Theurgists among them. Leibniz, one of the greatest men of science that ever lived, who died in Hanover in 1716 at the age of 70 years, became a member of one of these societies, and there received an instruction he had vainly sought elsewhere. Were the mysterious meetings remnants of the ancient learned initiations? Everything tends to make us suspect it. The trials and examinations to which those who applied for initiation were obliged to submit, the nature of the secrets they possessed, the manner in which they were preserved. In these again may be found an explanation of why so many of the Pythagorean doctrines made their way into Masonry. Well, because he just copied them from the Egyptians. Pythagoras did not come up with this stuff on his own. He just copied it from the Egyptians. So it would be part of the builders. Okay? Masons in Masonry, the builders. Okay? Of the ceremonies performed at the initiation into the mysteries of Egypt, we know but little at present, for the initiated were very careful to conceal these sacred rites. Herodotus tells us that if any person divulged any part of them, he was thought to have called down divine judgment upon his head, and it was accounted unsafe to abide in the same house with him. He was even apprehended as a public offender and put to death. Does that not sound like things that the Most High would have his people do? But as they say all the time, don't read any other books. Just read the 66 books. Don't look at this other information. It has nothing to do with you. Who had this information? You see what I'm saying? Like, who had all this information? Who had all these, these rights? And they came over here to the Americas, and they just got their minds blown. Because I said, not only like do they have all these secret esoteric teachings, but they were like implemented into like their buildings. Find some more to share with you. Like some of the words, some of the things that are said, like they don't even translate into like the Greek. You see what I'm saying? So that just shows you that these things did not originate with the Greeks. So let me read a little bit. All right. So if a thing doesn't even translate into if some of this information does not even translate into your language, then how in the hell do you get to be the ones on top telling us what shit means? Does that make any sense? Like, hold on. In your language, you don't even have these words. You don't even have this information. You don't even have this understanding. But you are elevated to be the one at the top, and you're the only one that understands it. And pretty much whatever you say goes. That makes no sense. You are the authority, but your own language does not even translate into this. That doesn't make any sense, does it? So that's why now when you start looking at prophecy, see, you're talking about prophecy with books that were never given to you. The prophecies deal with our people. So if you can't even translate some of these words into Greek, so the damn sure not going to go into Roman, they're not going to go into Latin. That means then if this stuff was way before you, so that means that the prophecies that came before you have nothing to do with you. You see what I'm saying? Check this part out. This is pretty amazing. It says, those who resisted to the last of the trials of the autopsia, as the initiation was called, were then dismissed with these 3 words. Check this out. Con ex pan ex, which, strange to say, have no meaning in the Greek language. You know what I say? They told you don't be reading any books. Don't be reading those damn books, man. Get your ass out there and go play some basketball. Get your ass out there and go play some football. You don't need to be reading. So you're gonna be a nerd. The chicks won't like you. You're not gonna get any booty that way. Just get your butt out there and go run around. I said you don't want to be the smart guy. Let us handle that. We'll tell you what this stuff means. Let me read that part again. Those who resisted to the last trials of the autopsia, as the initiation was called, were then dismissed with these 3 words, con ex pan ex, which, strange to say, have no meaning in the Greek language. Captain Wilford, in his essay on Egypt, says they correspond to the words kancha pancha, which the Brahmins pronounce every day to announce to the devotees that the religious ceremonies are over. They have been translated, I'm going to show you guys to you right now. Retire, O retire profane, corresponding to the ite misa este of the Catholic Church. So like later on, the Catholic Church tried to, they're always trying to work their way in, but this stuff had nothing to do with them. But hold on, we're going to let them dictate which books we read. We're going to let them dictate which books are okay to read, which ones are going to make it to heaven. And this is how you guys are going to make it to heaven, by listening to us. But we got words in here that we can't even translate into our language. Let's see here, make sure you guys can see it. You guys see it right there. Which is strange to say, have no meaning in the Greek. So when you hear people talking about, oh, well, the Bible, can you read Greek? Well, if you don't read Greek, then you don't really know what the Bible says. Well, no, it doesn't quite work that way. Let me continue. It says, these words are not Sanskrit, but Maya. Okay? Konex, omon, panex, go stranger. It means go stranger, scatter. Are vocables of the language of the ancient inhabitants of the Yucatan, still spoken by their descendants, the aborigines of that country. They were probably used by the priests of the temples. Those sumptuous and awe-inspiring ruins I have studied during 14 years to dismiss the members of their mystic societies, among which we find the same symbols that are seen even today in the temples of Egypt and as in the Masonic lodges. It says, I will endeavor to show you that the ancient sacred mysteries, the origin of Freemasonry, consequently date back from a period far more remote than the most sanguine students of its history ever imagined. I will try to trace the origin, step by step, to this continent, which we inhabit, to America, from where Maya colonists transported their ancient religious rites and ceremonies, not only to the bank of the Nile, but to those of the Euphrates and the shores of the Indian Ocean, not less than 11,500 years ago. So, all this information did not originate with the Greeks. So when Pliny is pulling out all this great stuff, talking about the stars, talking about the constellations, talking about the moon, talking about the path of all these planets, this dude did not get this stuff from the Greeks. Okay? All right? So you guys can miss us with all the BS and you guys came up with all this stuff. I said, because you didn't. Like I said, you guys, like I said, you guys got played. You got played by your own people. They done lied to you. Talk about the nature of the winds, the periods of the winds, various observations respecting winds, daylight, many moons, many suns, the unusually long eclipses. And remember, they were surprised when they came over here and they saw how the Mayans had all this stuff worked out. They had all this information worked out already. Okay? So please, when you guys keep saying like, oh, well, if you want to know about these topics, you need to go to the best minds. Well, the books of the best minds are hidden under the Vatican. The books of the best minds are hidden in all these other museums. It says the books of the best minds, okay, are not yours. That's why the Most High says that you are going to come to him at the end and say that our fathers have inherited lies. Why doesn't your church teach you that? Why doesn't your church tell you how the Gentiles have inherited lies? Like it talks about in Jeremiah 16, around 19. Why doesn't your church tell you that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they keep saying they're Bible-believing Christians. Okay, well, the Bible says that the Gentiles are going to come and say that our fathers have inherited lies. Can you give us some examples of the lies that, the Gentiles have inherited? Because that would mean that they're going to be, and they're still going to be having lies to today. Because they don't admit that their fathers have inherited lies until they're standing in front of the Most, with the Most High. Exactly. Got a lot of books in British museums, and so-called Egyptian museums. I'm sure we got some over in Chinese museums, East Indian museums. They got our information everywhere, hidden in the back rooms that they're not going to show. Been bought by super rich people who have our information in their homes. So like I said, so we're going to get into this, like I said, a lot more. But just understand that there's a lot of information that has been hidden that the Most High is working to give us. And I love the way Brother Abdullah Seer and Big Levi are getting into a lot of the esoteric information, the angel information, angelic information, learning how, teaching us how to apply this information in order for us to get the angels to do our bidding, in order to be able to, you know, get blessings by them from the Most High. Go, you know, returning back to the way we used to do things before. You know, returning us back to our heritage. As you can see, there's absolutely no way that the Gentiles can teach us about our heritage. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we go to the Gentiles and ask them to teach us what we used to do before? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It makes no sense, you know, to be asking Gentiles, hey, you know, what did we used to do before? Because what are they going to say? Oh, well, you can't do that again because that's why you guys are in the situation you're in right now. That's how they get around that. By telling you, oh, well, you were into witchcraft and that's why, you know, you went into slavery. So don't look into that. This is why we must go back to the Holy Spirit. We must go to the Father. We must trust what we are being told by the Father. We must trust what how the Holy Spirit is working with us. We must not be scared to go into subject matter that our enemies tell us we can't. You see what I'm saying? Like that, you cannot be scared to go where the Most High is going to take you. We're dealing with the spirit world. We got spirits that are here waiting to assist us. Because they're going to use people that look like us to keep us from looking at, you know, in this information, looking into this information. But like I said, just like that right there, you know, this information, these things that were being said before the Greeks showed up, you know, these rites, these initiations, I said it would make sense that our people would be doing that. They would not give our information to just anyone. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can find that one. I said they would not give our information to just anyone. They would hide it. They would only give it to a select few. The scriptures say that. 2 Esdras 14 tells you that. Let's see, is that page 191? Okay, perfect. Law Scriptures book. You want to check this one out? Remember now, hey, remember who's telling you, hey, yeah, I don't approve that book. I don't approve this information. And we got a whole bunch of so-called Hebrews who will just, hey, the man said, you know, that we can't read it. So therefore, I'm not reading it. Have you done your biblical exegesis? Have you done this? You know, they use all these big terms and stuff, you know. Now this is talking about, this is called the letter of Peter to James and its reception. They did not want our records given to the Gentiles. Because they said, hey man, if you give this stuff to the Gentiles, they are going to screw it all up. You know what I'm saying? It says, Peter to James 1 and 2. Peter to James, the Lord and Bishop of the Holy Church. Peace be with you always from the Father of all through Jesus Christ. knowing well that you, my brother, eagerly take pains about what is for the mutual benefit of us all. I earnestly beseech you not to pass on to any one of the Gentiles the books of my preachings, which I here forward to you, nor to any one of our own tribe before probation. Does that not sound like you need to go through an initiation process? First of all, the Gentiles, hell no. They don't give our books. He's like, don't even give them our books. But our own people, don't give them the books unless they go through a probation. So this here, right there alone, would prove the whole aspect of initiations, secret societies. This information is not given to everyone. You need to go through these steps in order to even be presented with this information. This is what you're seeing in the Lost Scriptures book right from jump. First paragraph, second paragraph, already, bam. He's like, do not give them my teachings. Okay? I'm going to skip on down. I'm going to go to second chapter, verse 3. Actually, I'll start here. I'll start right here and I'll read some of this, okay? It goes, in order now that the same may also take place among us, hand over the books of my preachings in the same mysterious way to our 70 brethren, that they may prepare those who are candidates for positions as teachers. For if we do not proceed in this way, our word of truth will be split into many options. This I do not know, okay, as a prophet, but I have already the beginning of the evil before me. For some from among the Gentiles have rejected my lawful preaching and have preferred a lawless and absurd doctrine of the man who is my enemy. This is why this information has been left out of the Bible. As I say, you think that Peter only wrote the few books that they approved that's in the Bible? You don't think that Peter wrote anything else? You don't think that Paul wrote anything else? You don't think that Timothy wrote anything else? John wrote it? Only what you see in here. Matthew only wrote this. You see what I'm saying? Like that's a bunch of garbage. So again, he says, for some from among the Gentiles have rejected my lawful preaching and have preferred a lawless and absurd doctrine of the man who is my enemy. Because, and indeed, some have attempted, while I am still alive, to distort my words by interpretations of many sorts, as if I taught the disillusion of the law. And although I was of this opinion, did not express it openly, but that may God forbid. So, as usual, the Gentiles will come in and they're going to say, well, he said this, but he meant that. But understand, again, these Gentiles have these words from these other things, these other books that aren't even in their language. So therefore, it's not even their information. Continue. For to do such a thing means to act contrary to the law of God, which was made known by Moses and was confirmed by our Lord in its everlasting continuance. For he said, the heaven and the earth will pass away, but one jot or one tittle shall not pass away from the law. This is the important part right here. This he said that everything might come to pass, but those persons who I know not. Okay? Hold on, let me read that part again. This he said that everything might come to pass, but those persons who I know not how allege that they are at home in my thoughts, wish to expound the words which they have heard of me, better than I myself, who spoke them. To those whom they instruct, they say that this is my opinion, to which indeed I never gave a thought. But if they falsely assert such a thing, while I am still alive, how much more after my death will those who come later venture to do so? So if they're going to do this stuff when I'm alive, how much worse is it going to be after I'm dead? They're going to distort they're distorting my teachings while I'm alive. What do you think they're going to do when I'm dead? Start there at 2. And there, okay, right here. Start there. Now see this here, a prime example, okay, of secret societies. Prime example of keeping information from others. Prime example of the Gentiles. This is a perfect example of Psalms 147, 19 and 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob. Okay? His statutes unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any other nation. Okay? He has not dealt so with any other nation because he knows the Gentiles, this is what you guys are going to do. You're going to get the words and you're going to distort it. You see what I'm saying? So that's why when you're starting to see all these Gentiles pulling out a new black guy, showing you, oh, this guy's woke. Check him out. Check out what he's teaching. Oh, he's teaching whatever you're teaching. He's just a black dude doing it. That's it. That doesn't mean he's teaching anything new. You see what I'm saying? Our forefathers, our brethren from before, they knew exactly what the Gentiles were going to do. They knew what they were going to do. They're going to distort the truth. They're going to distort the numbers of who's here watching. They're going to make it seem like it's been stuck at 800 for the last 45 minutes. It's not going to move. They're going to, manipulate events. They're going to make it seem like a dude who is just acting a fool on his phone, acting a fool, whatever else, wants 80,000 people want to watch him. But, right now, get an opportunity to actually hear the truth. No one wants to hear that. Nothing new. That's exactly what they've been doing. Checking out the word cult is a bad thing when it's talking about the same thing that, Peter right here was talking about. Don't give my information to everyone. And, from the other nations. That sounds like a cult to me. This stuff that they're doing is going to look peculiar to the other nations because they're not allowed to get this information. Yeah, sounds like a cult to me. So there you go. There's a Peter to James right there. Sounds like they're setting up a cult. Even the people in his own nation have to go through an initiation process. Yep, sounds like a cult to me. But they want to use it as something negative. You don't think that the Christians have cultic tendencies in their religion? Do they talk about all of the rape, rob, and murder that they're responsible for? Nope. They keep all that stuff hush-hush, right? They're not telling you about all the stuff that they do. They keep a lot of the things that they're responsible for secret. What they tell you in public is different than what they're talking about behind closed doors. Like the ley lines, did they tell you that they built all their churches on our sacred areas, our sacred spots, in order to get power from the ley lines? Did they tell you about that? Or they keep that a secret too? Did they tell you about how, they have the equilateral triangle with the eye inside of it, and they got that from paganism? Did they tell you about that, or they keep that a secret? They stole that too? You see what I'm saying? So, trust me, they hide a lot of information from the layman as well. Nothing different. Okay? So you got sacred sites, you got sacred information. Okay? You saw right there that Peter to James said, please do not give my teachings to these Gentiles. And even people within our own nation, make them go through a process. a weeding out process to see if they're really serious. So then, those words that they use about scatter, that doesn't even translate into the Greek, that's things that our people did. So that shows you right then that it had nothing to do with the Greeks. It had nothing to do with the Romans. It's stuff that we've had to do by hiding our information from jump. Our forefathers, our brethren, had to hide this esoteric information from jump, from Gentiles, because as soon as they get their hands on it, we saw exactly what they were going to do. Let's take a look at some of the chat here. But great information. Like I said, we got a lot more. This is just scratching the surface. But I wanted you all to see that, how some of the words don't even translate into the Greek. So if they don't translate into your language, then your breakdown of what's really going on has nothing to do with you. That's why those Georgia Guidestones got knocked down by the Most High, because he's telling you that your plans are not his plans. There's a reason why, this country has not been destroyed. They keep on talking about how, they're going to destroy America. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They can't do anything to America unless the Most High allows it. They're gonna bomb all cities and this and that. No, they're not, unless the Most High allows it. So you guys understand, man does not decide what's going to happen here. The Most High decides what's going to happen with these lands. We've lost our way as a nation, so therefore the Most High is going to destroy this land. No, he's going to destroy the ones who destroyed this land. Why would he destroy the land? When we messed up, did he destroy the land? No, he gave it to you. And you guys used it. You guys got a hold of our lands. Did the Most High destroy our lands when you guys got here? No, he let you have your time on our lands and let you enjoy the blessings that our lands, were intended for. They were intended to be a blessing. So you got blessed. But now your time here is up. Your blessing here is up. Okay? And now the Most High is going to remove you. You see what I'm saying? And that's exactly it. But y'all want to make it sound like the Most High is going to destroy these lands because you lost your way. You never had the right way. You've never had the correct path. And that's what that shows you right there. From Peter to James, they already knew from jump, way back then, that you guys were not going to have the right way. And to hide these books from you. That's why you got all these Gentiles talking about why Jesus is going to save them. Because that has nothing to do with that. Black Jesus ain't going to save you either. Exactly. Never had anything right. You've been lying on our people when they were here, and you continue to lie all the way till now. But like I said, we've been blessed to get this understanding, and I said there's going to be a whole lot more coming. The Most High is going to bring out even more. Okay? Let's say continue to work on yourselves, continue to work on growing, continue to work on elevating. I'll be cracking up because some people who used to talk mess about things that we talk about were actually have stuff about, elevating frequencies and stuff like that in their titles. And stuff like that. It's just funny, like all of a sudden, but that's what they have to do. They have to copy because they have nothing on their own, because the Most High is not dealing with a lot of people. The Most High is not dealing with a lot of people and giving them knowledge and understanding. You know what I'm saying? If we start talking about frequencies and not going to low frequencies, elevating your frequency, working on, emotional growth, working on spiritual growth, working on shadows, working on all these things, that we have to work on. And all of a sudden you start seeing that in other people's, in other people's titles. And that we see you, you think you're slick, you know. And that's exactly what they've been doing from the beginning. Exactly. But I'm going to let you go, family. It's great hanging out with you. All praise is the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom, family.